Hey there, listeners. Make sure you head over to our TikTok channel at semi-charmed-kind-of-pod and see our awesome giveaway that's going on right now. Hey guys, welcome back.
Hello, everyone.
So we are in a day of recording podcasts, and I'm so excited.
So again, we don't know what episode this is going to be, but we're in a whole new episode.
No idea, but this one I think is going to blow your whole mind.
I'm excited when you were... Wait, which one is this? Because I know both of your subjects, but I don't know which one we're doing
So
first.
this one is the Cherryle Dell Murderer, and she is the Voodoo Doll Murderer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'm excited about this one, too.
I'm excited. So this is like a little bit of true crime, but you get some like factual stuff in there, too.
Yeah.
But this one's going to blow your mind.
No, I'm along for the... I want to say this. I want to make a disclaimer for the entirety of the podcast. I'm along for the true crime ride.
Yeah.
As long as we're able to, like... I just don't want to hear about somebody getting murdered for the sake of somebody getting murdered.
I'm only, like, this season, I'm only going to do true crime that's related to the craft or practice of some kind.
Exactly. Like, make it relevant to, like...
Yeah.
Yes,
so you can,
us.
like...
Yeah.
Plus, it helps people realize, like, how much they socialize, like...
Yeah. And I'm just not
witchcraft through media.
I'm not one of those people, like, who... Are you one of those people that will just, like, watch Investigation Discovery all day of, like, here's different ways of people being murdered and, like...
It's my comfort stuff.
I can't do that.
Why?
I mean, I like the occasional Dateline of, what was it, like, is it the Ohio?
Oh,
With,
yeah.
like, the... Oh, so
that's
sad.
going on right now.
So, yeah. I mean, I hate being like, ooh, I like stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just, like, my mom is someone who can, like, sit there for, like, 8 hours a day and watch, like, people dying in different ways. And I'm just like, yeah, people are horrible. I don't really need to, like...
Yeah, I can see that from your side, too. My husband also isn't, like, he's not into it at all. But what's so weird is that's my comfort stuff, right? Podcasts, books, like, clearly you can see I have a bajillion books, and TV, but I cannot watch scary movies to save my life.
See, I understand, like,
It's trauma. I'm telling you, it's too close.
That's scary. I like the jumping out.
Even though I can watch true stuff, and that doesn't resonate.
See, I'm the
with me.
opposite. I love watching, like, stuff that I know, like, is, like, there's no way that, like, it could happen. Like,
me.
I love scary movies. I love horror movies.
What's your favorite horror movie?
I don't know. God, you're putting me on the spot. I really like The Skeleton Key. I can watch that movie.
That's a great movie, but that's a thriller. That's not horror.
That's...
Okay, well, then I feel better that I can watch horror movies because I've watched that movie. I love that.
That's a horror movie.
Okay.
I love The Strangers. I love that movie.
Ooh,
yeah, and everybody has that. Everybody has that reaction. I'm like, I love that movie. That's such a good movie.
That's like true. That is based on a true story, isn't it?
No, I know.
No, it can't.
But
do
it's
it.
like they camp it up. Like it's good.
It is
and
good.
Scott Speedman.
Oh my god,
I love watching a handsome man be scared.
I saw the last like scary movie that I saw. I was on a date with a guy, and I really liked him.
So this was a while ago.
This was a long time
to establish
ago.
People who do not know, she is married. They're currently
This is more than 10 years ago. And literally, he was like, we went to dinner, and then he was like, well, I don't want to go home yet. Do you want to go to the movies? And I was like, yeah, why not? He was like, let's go see Hereditary.
Oh, perfect movie.
And let me tell you,
oh, it's so good.
Fell asleep. At the very beginning, I was dying the whole time. I was screaming. I was so upset.
What a good movie to be along for the ride.
No
on,
way.
though.
I didn't sleep for weeks.
So I have a similar story where we didn't go to the movie theater, but I went over to there was this guy that I was dating, and I went to his house, and did you ever see The Fourth Kind with Mila Jovovich?
No.
Oh my god, if you're scared of, like, don't watch that movie. It'll terrify you. Because it's
Don't
all,
worry.
like, they do, like, it's all about people being abducted in Alaska.
No.
Yeah, and, like, they stage it. It's all, like, you know what I mean? But they do it as found footage, so it, like, looks real.
We should do a whole season on abductions.
Oh, it's terrifying. Oh, I'd love that.
Okay.
It's terrifying, but he did the same thing. He, like, fell asleep halfway through it, and I'm sitting there watching this movie, like, terrified, like, looking at him, like, and, like, the whole crux of the movie is people, like, waking up in the middle of their sleep and, like, doing, like, robot voices and, like, floating in the middle of the bed. Oh, yeah. So, like, the, like, scary part of the movie is people waking up from sleep, and I'm looking at him like, if you wake up right now, I swear to God.
I was literally, like, white clutching the seats in that movie theater, because I was like, are you kidding me?
Was this a first date?
Yes.
See, that is a cardinal rule for me. No movies on a first date.
It freaked me out.
Why do I want to sit in a dark room where we cannot talk?
True.
Can't even look at each other.
Well, we're not together now, so
It's
clearly.
It's a red flag if somebody wants to go to a movie on a first date for me. Not happening.
Okay, well, that's a great segue into this, because this lady that's this murderer, Cherryle Dell, she is a red flag, let me tell you, okay? And
is Cherryle the one who was... Is she our victim, or is she the murderer?
She's the murderer.
Oh, so we don't like Cherryle.
Yeah, you should really look her up on Murderpedia. This lady looks like her crazy.
Why am I like... I feel like I should be surprised that there's a murder Wikipedia, but I'm like, not.
Oh,
I'm not at all.
Murderpedia? Ooh, you should look at it. It even gives, like, updates.
Did we not just have this entire conversation? I don't...
You need to.
I don't get off on that.
You should. No, you need to, because they even give them, like, updates in jail of, like, what they look like now.
Okay, maybe I do want to.
You should, because this lady's wild.
Okay, so tell me about Cherryle.
Okay, so this starts in Killaloe, Ottawa, which is, like, a hippie, like, off-grid type of town. There was a lot of close-knit neighbors. They all knew each other. Everybody helped each other. And pretty much everything in the town seemed, like, walkable. They actually called it a village, not a town. That's how small.
Is this, like, a commune?
No, but it is, like, well...
Is Ottawa Canada?
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say, we're in Canada. Okay.
Okay, geography. Okay, so they lived... It was a married couple. It was Scott and Cherryle Dell. Scott, who was known to others, people described him as gentle, soft-spoken, intelligent, and extremely handsome.
I'm sure he was. Those are always the ones you gotta watch out for him.
Yeah, he was very well known in the community. A lot of villagers loved him. However, Cherryle, his wife, was the opposite. You know, you're dealing with, like, homesteaders and, like, minimalists. Everybody cared about, like, their crops.
What time period is this, if we're referring it to it as
the 90s.
Village? Oh, okay.
Yeah, they still referred to themselves as a village.
Okay. The 1900s.
Yeah. The 1900s. That long ago. I'm old. But these people cared about their livelihoods more than what they looked like. But Cherryle was, like, extremely flashy. Neighbors said that she walked into town with, like, super elaborate outfits, these fancy high-heel boots.
She was that bitch of the village.
Fur coats.
Okay.
She was killing it. She had this, like, really big red hair. Like, picture, like, Magda from Brave.
Oh, okay.
That kind of
People
hair.
are like, there's not even a hair salon. Where are you getting this done?
Exactly. Right?
Okay,
so, even though they were polar opposites, like, they were still making it work. Basically, everything seemed good from the outside looking in. Scott got diagnosed with, like, a throat condition, which they said was possibly cancer at the time. He started losing his voice, and they were afraid that he was going to lose it permanently. So he actually began taping his children's favorite books, so that way they could keep replaying them. So, like, that's the type of guy this guy was, okay? He was basically, like, a wonderful father.
The sentimental cancer in me is just like, oh my god.
Basically. Yeah, so, basically, Cherryle was...
Oh god, what did she do?
So many things, let me tell you.
Did she, like, go through and, like, delete the recordings?
No. She might have. I mean, they don't
She, like,
talk
taped
about
over
that.
them. Oh, sorry. I recorded my Lifetime movie.
Okay, VHS. But she was clearly not the best mother. She partied. There was several stories alluding to affairs.
She was a cool mom.
Basically, they said that basically she wasn't very happy with her current life and that she wanted to go back to her old life, which is really strange because they were together for 20 years.
What was her old life? How old are they at this point? What was her old life?
I mean...
Being a teenager?
Exactly. So I guess maybe she was going through, like, a midlife crisis, maybe.
Took like.
Where she kind of decided maybe she didn't want to do that anymore.
She's, like, reevaluating all of her life choices.
Basically, but every time Scott took her back. Like, with open arms.
Took her back, like, what is she doing? She's just going out and, like, partying for days on end?
And affairs.
Oh, so mom just disappears for...
Basically.
Wait, do they have kids?
Yeah, 3.
3, okay.
3 of them. Okay, so, one of the kids, actually, there was an incident report where Cherryle accused Scott. Now, trigger warning for this. So, there is talk of suicide in this, sexual assault.
Oh, no.
As well, obviously, a murder. But Cherryle accused Scott of sexually assaulting his adopted daughter. She had the daughter go down to the police station and file a report against him. Child welfare got involved. They actually lost their kids for a little while. And basically, it came out later that the whole thing was a lie.
It was all hearsay.
Cherryle was basically trying to attempt to get the kids taken away from them so she wouldn't have to have kids anymore.
Wait, back up. So she wanted the kids taken away from both of them?
Basically because she was married to him.
What was her argument that, like, if we're in this hypothetical situation, he's coming after the daughter, why wouldn't the daughter just be hers then? How does that absolve her of responsibility?
No idea.
Okay, work.
Isn't that crazy?
I mean, minds of crazy people, right?
She's clearly red flag.
Using that term loosely.
Okay, so Scott's family obviously was, like, super not happy with this whole situation.
Because it sounds like it's just escalating.
Yeah, but keep in mind, like, he's sick, right?
So we have this throat condition.
They need family support. So, basically, Cherryle in the times of all of this,
Oh, no.
meets somebody.
Of course she does.
She began a very serious relationship with a woman that she met in a support group who was named Gay Dougherty. Gay lived in Ontario.
So wait, she started a gay relationship with Gay.
She did.
Okay.
Right?
Pride awareness, or bi awareness.
Oh,
We're here for it.
different strokes for different folks.
All right.
Gay lived in Ontario for a little while. Ironically, she worked for the Roman Catholic Church, where she was super devoted to celibacy and God.
She kept her work and her private and her home life separate.
Well,
like, very separate.
She basically was like, had an epiphany, was like, hey, I want to be a lesbian, and I'm going to move. So she moved to Ottawa, where she met Cherryle.
But did she keep working for the church?
No, she quit.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, props to her.
But the support group that they met at was incest survivors.
But wait, there was no real incest.
Well, this
That
is
we know
actually
of.
this is Cherryle going to an
Oh,
incest
what
survivors
happened
group.
to Cherryle?
We don't know.
We don't know.
Or whether anything did happen to Cherryle. Maybe she just wanted
Maybe she
attention.
made that up too.
Basically. So first they became friends, and then they began a really committed relationship with each other. Now, keep in mind, Scott and Cherryle had been together for 20 years at this point. So, very long time. Basically, they were, like, inseparable, Gay and Cherryle. So, Scott basically said, like, I gotta end this. Like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
But if she ever wanted to come back, he would keep
He's-
open arms for her.
Scott.
How
Scott.
sad, right?
Scott. Where's my Scott?
And that's what I'm
I
saying.
can't even get a text back.
I am reading this thinking, wow, nobody's ever loved me this
That's
much
what
in
I'm
my
saying,
life.
like-
She had several affairs, even had an entire lesbian relationship with somebody, and he just was like, if you want to come back, do it.
And like you said, this man is dying. So he's like, caveat, given I'm still alive.
Seriously.
Like, isn't that the time to focus on yourself?
I'm saying.
If any, I would think your Twilight
Right?
is the time to maybe.
The devout father. So poor Gay, like, really thought she had a catch with Cherryle. She really said, quote unquote, that she thought she was going to have, like, a sophisticated New York type of
Did
affair.
she not know the situation? Because my thing, like, if they cheat with you, they're gonna. Right? So did she not know that she was leaving her husband?
Well, she even met her children, and that's what she said. Basically, she really thought that she should leave Cherryle after like a couple months because she realized how mentally unstable this lady was. But because she got close to her children,
Oh, fuck them kids.
and we're even,
I don't know if we're cursing on this podcast, but
Why not?
fuck them damn
but
kids.
she basically was like, I should leave. But
How old are these kids at this point? Because if they've been
Young.
married for 20 years,
young. Yeah, we're talking
so
like
they're
11.
Not,
I
they're
mean,
not gonna know any better. Like, in the grand scheme of their life, okay, mom had a friend for a little while.
but I mean,
It's not like they're having a lesbian affair in front of the kids.
yeah, they had separated basically. Well, I don't even know if they knew. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's
Yeah.
just mom had a friend. So, like, what are these kids' lives that you need to stay in?
But to your point, right? Like, I met a married woman who's been with her husband for 20 years, and he's sick.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and you're like, oh, this is the catch.
And you met her in an incest support group.
I'm gonna go buy a lottery ticket. 'Cause
Whatever.
Clearly.
Okay, well, then came the realization that Cherryle was into witchcraft.
She's been into witchcraft this entire time?
Yes. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah.
Like real shit.
Cheryl's a witch.
Like, she ain't messing around.
Right. So Gay didn't know it right away, but apparently she'd caught Cherryle doing spells, practicing,
Dancing with the devil in the full moonlight.
basically naked probably. And she flips a switch all of a sudden.
Cherryle?
When Gay starts to catch on that she's a witch, she decides to hone all of her energy into now hating Scott. And she's going to take down Scott. Because she doesn't want Gay to leave her. So she's trying to like channel all of this energy into now we're gonna off Scott.
How does that... Okay.
It doesn't.
Mind of a crazy person.
It doesn't.
How we're getting from point A to point B.
This lady's like made of magic
I feel
because
like people
why
that-
are people love her so much?
And I feel like people that want to kill their husbands will just look for like any excuse to kill their husbands.
Literally.
It's like, oh!
Yep.
This...
Yes.
Okay.
So she became obsessed with trying to hurt him. Gay said it escalated to Cherryle making a, quote, voodoo doll shaped out of wax with strings and ribbon. She would chant over it, put pins in it, hurt it, and then buried it.
Did she put anything of his on it? Like, is this like a real? Do we think this is a real? Again, is this real?
So
like,
we're gonna get to
is she
that.
practicing? Where is she learning this stuff? Is she trial and error?
That's a great question. So, while she's doing all of this, keep in mind Scott was helping her the whole time.
Yeah, you can't help but feel for him because apparently he's like he wants to take her back if she's.
He did odd jobs for her. He went and got things for her, like changed her tires.
And he's dying. He's
did
dying.
chores. Exactly.
He's dying.
Yes. So maybe she really did have him, like, quote, under a spell.
That's what I'm thinking. Does she have like some kind of like decaying spell on him?
Perhaps she put him in a freezer. I don't know.
He's in a jar somewhere.
So clearly this caused Gay and her to have this like tumultuous relationship because they were basically in a relationship and she was still seeing and relying on her ex all the time. But you're telling me that you hate him.
Yeah.
But you're still going after him all the time. Right. So Gay basically said that she wanted out. Obviously that didn't go over with crazy Cherryle very well. She went on a rampage and decided that she was going to push Scott out of her life to save her relationship with Gay.
Girl, I thought you already left him.
Oh, right.
Like, what?
She wanted full custody of the kids. She wanted the house, the farm that they were on, and she wanted Scott out of her life permanently. Okay. So she started telling coworkers that she was going to shoot him during hunting season and make it look like an accident.
Okay, well, rule number 1, don't tell people about your murder plot.
Literally. Like, why? And coworkers are the last people.
The last people. That's like a forced friendship if I've ever heard of one.
Seriously, I can think of 5 other people that I would ask before I would ever ask a coworker.
Yeah.
She started talking about hitmen to see whether anybody knew any hitmen.
Okay, yeah, you also, you don't involve people in your murder plot either. Like, because that's just asking.
Anything. And then she started asking people, how much antifreeze do you think it would take to kill somebody?
Oh my god. Again, a good day of watching Investigation Discovery will tell you, because I'm telling you.
Well, and
there's going to be one episode where someone offed their husband.
This is going to blow your mind. When nobody would help her or answer her questions, she called poison control.
Oh my god.
And asked them, how much antifreeze would it take to kill somebody?
What's the safe amount of antifreeze that I can drink? I've heard it's really sweet.
Seriously, they had a recording that they used, like, later of her doing that.
Wow.
Yeah, so shortly after plotting his demise, Scott was basically officially diagnosed with cancer.
Okay. So we figure out what the throat condition is.
Yeah, but her coworker said that she didn't seem upset at all by his diagnosis.
Probably because she caused it.
Basically because, I mean, she saw it as a resolution to her life, right? Like, she kept talking about her after Scott life. Here's my thing. Why did nobody report any of that?
I don't know, because, I mean, honestly, like, if you're sitting in the cubicle, would you seriously take threats like that from your coworker? Like, I mean, maybe if she's laying out, like, specific plots of, like, walking him into the woods and shooting him and making it seem like it's a hunting accident, maybe I would be calling the cops.
I mean, I give you permission, full disclosure, that if I gave 4 ounces of antifreeze to Andre, do you think it would kill him?
Oh, the questions like that would absolutely start raising
She's asking these
yeah.
actual questions.
Yeah, and I guess if it's like, you know what I mean? Like, you asked me something very similar to that last week, Cherryle. I think, yeah.
I think we should probably say something.
At least to report it to a higher up.
Do we have
an
HR
anonymous, aware?
Right, do we have an anonymous hotline? So Scott went through treatments and he was put in remission. Now we can only assume that Psycho Cherryle was completely pissed off by that.
Yeah, she's sent into a tizzy. She's pissed.
Her plan is not going as predicted. So after a bit, Cherryle started telling people that's actually not true. And Scott's cancer is still there. He just doesn't want you to know.
Manifest your own reality.
Basically.
So she's like, nope.
So she began telling people that Scott was trying to move to hospice at home because that was his dying wish.
But Scott's in remission. Scott's trying to start his life.
Spoiler alert. I mean, obviously the man dies, but the autopsy said he officially had no cancer and was in remission.
Oh God, so how does he wake up dead?
So in December of 1995, antifreeze and wine was officially purchased by Cheryl's new girlfriend, Nancy.
Wine? She didn't even put it in Gatorade?
Literally. So the new girlfriend literally watched her mix the two of them together and only said, don't do this, and argued about it a little bit, but nothing else.
Oh, because she was just, like, so concerned.
This is the new girlfriend.
That's what I. That's
like, what is wrong
This is
with
gay.
you? No,
No.
She got
a completely new girlfriend.
She had a new girlfriend named Nancy.
What is with these people just like watching?
Why is everybody obsessed with this lady?
I don't. It's witchcraft.
Literally. So the plan was to give this to Scott for Christmas, but Gay and Scott actually came to the house together with Nancy and Cherryle all together.
Who's Nancy? The new girlfriend?
Her new girlfriend.
Wait, but now Gay's back too.
Gay's visiting the children because she was so close with the children.
Part of their lives.
And Scott. So they're all having this hunky-dory Christmas thing together.
Oh, no.
Cherryle told Scott that through a prolific dream she had, she had a message come through that Scott should drink the wine and he would have important visions of his life come to him.
That even if I had zero context, I would think I was being poisoned.
Basically. But he loved her so much. So Scott took the bottle home. Cherryle went straight to her altar after he left, lit candles and chanted rituals in hopes of fulfilling her quote-unquote spell work.
So she spiked the bottle of wine and then just let him take it back to the house? Are her kids still in that house?
Yes.
So there's a poisoned bottle of wine.
Yep.
Just going back to her house unsupervised.
So
cool.
Yep. As soon as Scott got home, he drank the wine.
He cracked a bottle.
Yep. He called Cherryle hourly. Okay, telling her that he was listening to old tunes from their life and thinking about their relationship and basically reminiscing about how they wanted to be back. He wanted to be back together.
Because he's probably sipping on that wine and liquefying his organs.
Now, keep in mind, Gay is still at Cheryl's house with Nancy and Cherryle this whole time.
I was gonna bring up to that point, because if they're broken up, she's gone through this whole relationship with them. She's aware of this vendetta. So why would you just, even if you didn't I would be like, what's in that open wine bottle? Clearly, like, what did she like?
Why is it open?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Cherryle stayed on the phone with him the entire time to ensure
Of course she did.
that she would hear him die.
Of course she did.
So
that's sick.
Yes. So Gay basically was like, why are you on the phone with Scott this whole night when I'm at your house? Like, why do you need to be on the phone with him?
This lady isn't putting it together.
Not
like,
at
she
all.
knew about all of this stuff. She saw her praying over the voodoo doll. And then she's just like, oh.
Yep. And Nancy said that she didn't say anything because Cherryle scared her, basically threatened her into...
I'm going to do the same to you.
Or that you're the new girlfriend and I'm actually want to be back with my husband, Scott, my ex-husband, Scott. So they'll probably think you did it to off him to be with me. So she didn't say anything because she was panicked.
Yeah. So, but I also want to know, like, moment of, so what, Cherryle just, like, has him on speaker and they're just, like, sitting there around, like, just having their night while she just listens to this man die on speakerphone?
Yep, and at 4 a.m. it went silent, so Cherryle hung up the phone.
The deed is done.
Yep. So Cherryle lied to Gay and told her that Scott was expected to die in the next few days by his doctor, and she just wanted to be there for him.
Because she's telling everybody he still has cancer.
Yep. Gay was like, yeah, whatever, but she basically didn't say anything, and when Scott didn't show up to pick up the kids the next day, Cherryle sent Gay to go check on him. Right, the ex-girlfriend. So when she arrived, she could see the Christmas tree was lit up. She could hear the love song still playing on the stereo.
My jaw is still on the floor.
Literally. Right, you would
send her
to find the body. Scott was found dead in his son's room, only wearing a sweater and nothing else. Just a sweater. Literally. So Scott was found...
Wait, no pants?
No pants.
Oh, he was having a good time.
Literally.
He was really reminiscing.
So she called 911, but basically he was pronounced dead at the scene.
Yeah, where are the kids?
They were at Cheryl's. They spent the night at Cheryl's.
Oh, okay.
So they weren't there when he died.
Okay. She at least had the wherewithal to take the kids to the night.
I don't know. You could.
Who knows where the kids were? Oh, jeez.
So, but the way he was found and positioned, he was in his son's bedroom, and
like he went in there.
He was writing love notes to Cherryle. I'm going to read you, like, one of the ones that they found.
Oh, so you're just going to gut me right here?
Yep.
Live on the pod?
What did you think was going to happen if I drank a bottle of wine and listened to music that you and I used to listen to? I'm going to think about you and me together. We need to make the bad stuff go away. I probably was supposed to die of cancer, but my life was spared, and I don't know why. This poor guy. Literally.
While he's sipping on what ultimately killed him.
What Cherryle killed him with. So Gay said she called Cherryle to tell her, like, hey, I found Scott dead. And Cherryle said, what did he look like? Yeah.
Well, then I guess you should have gone... If you wanted to know so bad, shouldn't you have been the one to discover... You know he's dead. You did it.
But Gay didn't know. Only Nancy knew.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
But Cherryle knew.
Mm-hmm. Well, and she had to have speculated that she was going to kill him when she was with Gay, I would assume.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's putting any of this together, and then we're all just so surprised.
So, the death was blamed on depression, obviously because cops, you know.
Who kills themselves that way?
Literally. Cheryl's statement to the police said that he had called her and he was talking about a dream that he had about one of his friends that actually did commit suicide. He had hung himself.
Convenient.
And he sounded really slurry, but that way when they got off the phone at 4 a.m. that he sounded fine.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So at his funeral, she actually kept referring to herself as Scott's wife.
Of course she did.
And all of her exes were there.
Oh, of course, because she had multiple affairs.
Let me tell you, if my husband ever shows up to my funeral...
Rolling in the grave, swirling in the urn...
I will haunt him till he can't sleep at night. Literally.
No.
So, Scott's mother was obviously livid, and she actually had to leave the funeral because she could not stand watching it.
Yeah, I can't imagine why. I mean...
Yeah. So, this part's gonna blow your mind.
I feel like I've been pretty blown this entire time.
So, Cherryle obviously needed something new to focus on, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, she's been putting so much focus and energy on... and she just manifested it. He's dead.
Yep. She's still with Nancy, but now she's become obsessed with having a baby. And particularly a black baby. Okay?
She's white.
She is white. She started planning to kidnap one. And once again, Nancy, who's the horrible human of a girlfriend, okay, who never reports anything.
Is like, good idea, let me help.
Basically. And they go to the adoption agency saying that they had a baby at home.
Uh-huh.
And that somebody abducted it. And they were trying to help Cherryle fill the void of their black baby. She even placed classifieds to find a black man to impregnate her.
Okay, why couldn't she just go adopt a baby? Why did she have to come up with, like, a elaborate story? Why couldn't she just be like, I want a baby to give a home?
Why wouldn't you just conjure one?
I mean, she's doing a lot of manifestation, right? She's
Literally.
doing a lot of manifestation.
So, thankfully, this lady is, like, a complete nut job because it did lead to her arrest, right? In March of 1997, Nancy finally said, I'm done, and broke up with Cherryle, which resulted in both of them having to go to court together because Cheryl's crazy ass would not give her any of her stuff back.
So she was, like, holding all of her stuff hostage.
So Nancy was like, fine, I'll take you to court.
Over this.
Right? Like, so, this is a lot, but Nancy said that she was accusing Cherryle in court then of child abuse, that she drugged her children, right? Which doesn't really seem far-fetched. Because she wanted them to sleep all the time.
Okay.
She said that they would wet the bed and that Cherryle would make them, like, sleep in it and, like, lock them in their rooms and stuff like that.
It sounds like she's done way worse things, so I'm believing it.
But, like, hello, Nancy, you lived there. So, like, you also are just as bad because you didn't say anything.
Is that why she was able to develop, like, a quote-unquote relationship with because she was, like, not treating them as bad as Mom?
I don't know. So she had this whole elaborate story that they gave to CPS about her baby and that her new baby, right? Because she claims she had a black baby. It was living in Jamaica with the dad.
Okay.
She trained all of her children to lie for her.
And say that this baby existed.
Basically. So finally, that led to Nancy breaking down and was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to tell you how Scott died.
Oh, how did Scott die?
So Nancy admitted that she actually purchased the wine and the antifreeze. She watched her plan it, execute it, and even witnessed the night that he died on the phone with Cherryle. She told them that she was a witch and that she may have had some kind of spell work to make it look like Nancy had done it, and she was scared that it would retaliate against her.
How far are we from Scott's death?
2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So, they found out, basically, that Cherryle had an affair with a 16-year-old.
Well, all of this other stuff is going on.
Yes, let that
Who
sink in.
Who has the time?
Right? She also had a job, right? Because they said
I'm
coworkers.
sure this is the 90s. She's working a 40-hour work week. I'm sure.
So Cherryle had an affair with a 16-year-old boy that she hired to put a hit out on Nancy.
Oh, she's putting hits on everybody.
Probably because she was going to be the star witness in her case, which would pin the murder on Cherryle.
Okay, you think a 16-year-old is gonna, like... Why is a 16-year-old doing your wet works?
But here's the thing. She promised him $300 and a motorcycle, and sadly, Nancy never made it to the trial because he actually killed her.
He killed her?
He killed Nancy. He went to her house with the intention of slitting her throat, but he noticed while she was passed out drunk at her house, probably because she was, like, trying to just make it through life at this point.
He smothered her.
She had candles lit on the table, and he knocked it over and lit her house on fire.
And just left her.
Yes.
In there to burn.
Yep. But 2 years later, this is after Scott's death, Cherryle was officially charged with his murder. She received life in prison and accessory for murder to Nancy.
Yeah.
And then Brent, the 16-year-old, was actually tried as, like, an underage. I don't know how it works, like, with Canadian law.
But true, because we're in Canada.
Yeah, but he did get life in prison, but he escaped prison.
What?
In 2011. Right? But he was later found, but, like, holy cow.
He's still locked up, right? Because that's pretty...
Yeah. They both are.
That's pretty funny.
You should Murderpedia them, and you can see them both.
All right.
Yeah, but basically, like, poor Scott, right? Like, he was such a good person, and, like, she just kept, like, shitting on him and shitting on him and shitting on him, and he just kept coming back.
Literally died writing love notes to her. To
Literally.
his murderer.
Right. It's very, like, Romeo and Juliet, right? Like,
it's very Stockholm Syndrome. What are you talking about?
So, yeah, they said, like, that they had... It was crazy because there was a lot of, like, testimony, witness testimony and stuff
everyone
like
was
that.
like, they loved each other so much.
But because they didn't have a jury trial, they couldn't use any of the statements given by witnesses.
Yeah, like, what does it matter?
They couldn't even use Nancy's confession because it was videotaped.
Because at that point, it's just, like, a judge's decision, right? Like,
yep.
if a jury's not weighing in.
Thankfully, he realized, like, how crazy she was. But I do want to touch on Voodoo just really quickly, right?
Yeah, so tell us, like, what, in your opinion, do you think that she was just, like, happenstance? Because I believe in the power of manifestation. Mm-hmm. Like, that you can just manifest something just by putting enough energy into it, just as a thought. It's gonna pop up.
Yeah.
So do you think that she was inadvertently, like, just putting so much passion and energy into this that it was manifesting in something? Or do you think she actually knew what she was doing?
As far as witchcraft
What's
goes?
your opinion, when you hear the story?
I think that any kind of craft or practice, right? If you believe in what you're doing...
It's going to be individual, and it's going to be individual to that person. It's going to look different for everybody.
And you're doing it, right?
Okay, yeah.
So there's no, like, right or wrong to anything.
Of course.
Yeah. But what I will say is, I do want to touch on voodoo, and just say first and foremost, like, this is an absolutely closed practice, okay?
Right.
Meaning that closed practice means, like, if you were not raised in it, it's not for you, okay? So if you aspire to learn about a closed practice... You can learn knowledge, but it's not for practice, right? It's for respect. So someone must welcome you into a practice for actual use. Like, you do not seek those things.
What are other... Because, like, so is voodoo a religion?
Correct.
So what are some other... I know Santeria is one, too.
Hoodoo.
Closed. Because what I know about closed religions is a lot of times it's tied into, like we were saying, it's tied to the individual.
Yep.
It's tied, like, culturally.
True. Yep, voodoo
it's
is...
like part of, like, a lifestyle culture.
Absolutely.
Which is why it's also part of, like, nobody's just picking it up.
Correct. Yeah, so you can't say, because, like, your grandmother is from Haiti, and so, therefore, I know voodoo. That's not true.
That's not how it works.
No.
Right.
Unless your grandma is from Haiti or wherever, she grew up in voodoo... She taught you voodoo. Your life is voodoo. That is voodoo.
It's like, I was not raised Catholic, but it's like, when you're a practicing Catholic, you participate in, what is it, communion? Mm-hmm. Like, you do like, you know what I mean? You're raised in it. It's obviously anybody can join and be a Catholic, but there's certain practices and there's things that you're doing to keep up with the practice of your religion.
Correct.
So if those things are not taught to you, that's why I asked you when you had not only just her wanting a black baby, but when I asked if she was white, because it's like, why are you
white?
And where did you? Why are you doing voodoo?
You white? Okay, so
where did she pick it up? Do we know?
We don't know, but most voodoo practitioners say that the concept of voodoo dolls does not even exist in practice.
Right.
Okay. A high priest named Roby Gilmore stated, quote, "It blows my mind that people still believe voodoo dolls are relevant in voodoo religion. Hollywood really did a number. We do not stab pins in dolls to hurt people. We don't take your hair and make a doll and worship the devil with it. And we don't ask the devil to give us black magic to get revenge on you. It's done. It is not done. It won't be done. And it never will exist for us." So the concept of voodoo dolls is so, like, socialized by media.
Is it like a Western thing, too? It's just, like, perpetuated by media?
Yeah, and maybe she just heard something, or I would say look it up on the internet, but it's in the 90s, so she probably didn't.
She could, depending.
It
They're
depends.
both working.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt in a village. I don't know.
Oh, true, we're in a village.
Yeah, I don't know, but, I mean,
she was fancy.
Right. She had a lot of books.
She was fancy.
So, I mean, you never know, but yeah. That's the Voodoo Doll Murderer.
That's so interesting. That was a good one.
Thank you.
I like that.
I thought so. I thought you would like that.
I liked it, question mark? You know what I mean? I caution to be like,
poor Scott. Yeah.
Poor Nancy, too. Like,
yeah.
just like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I hate to be like, you brought it on yourself, but to be just taken out in your sleep by a 16-year-old, like, so late in the story, 16-year-old, right? Too. Like, you're not even taken out by a major player.
Literally.
And you're a major player.
But you also had to see that coming. Like, what's wrong with you?
Well, yeah.
Idiot.
I would have expected that to happen to Gay. I thought Gay was the one that would have been offed.
She was smart enough to at least get out.
I caution to say.
And I think she kept coming back because she was afraid for the children. You know what I mean?
Like you said, then she just.
I'm saying.
Where was the call to CPS if you loved him so much?
Yep. But
Just
that's
saying.
my episode.
Oh, that was so good.
Did you love it? Okay.
It was so good.
I'm glad you liked it. Yep, so
good. That's the end of the episode.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us, everybody. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. You can find us on Instagram. Facebook, maybe? I don't know. We're going to start a Facebook? I don't want to.
Please don't make me start a Facebook.
Let us know if you want to see us on Facebook.
We could do Facebook Live. Isn't that
we
where...
could. We'd also just do Instagram Lives.
Maybe Facebook Live is better.
They're owned by the same people.
Determined.
Yeah, we'll find out, guys. Let us know.
Coming to Meta.
Where you want to see us. Yeah, literally. Coming to Meta.
All right, well, we'll put show notes on Cherryle also for her Murderpedia page so you can look at her.
Yes.
Yes.
And you'll hear us next week on Semi-Charmed Kind of Pod.
Love it. A Semi-Charmed Kind of Podcast is hosted by Ashley Williams and Kyle Ugis. Music credits by Chauncey Fortune and art by Decay Decor. Keep listening and keep it cryptid.
We're wrapped in fragile hands, clinging on and bound in the dead of night. Stride, cramped in every bend, grasping onto anything to bring him back to life. To hurt is much to die, to hurt still live without, hurt still live